Will they bring him back? Are they going to continue to field offers for him?
So the hard conversations between these two sides have started. This has been a long relationship between Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. It's been mostly fruitful when you think about the success that these two sides have had. But I'm told here, as we're hours away from the NBA draft, the Boston Celtics have started to listen, engage, and discuss trades around Jaylen Brown. Sources tell me the Celtics are speaking to teams right now about Jaylen Brown. And you think about it, in 2022, the Celtics offered Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. Last summer, the Celtics did listen to trade offers for Jaylen Brown as they were trying to figure out how to shed salary under the aprons. They moved Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday, keep Jaylen Brown. And then here they offer Jaylen Brown for Giannis. The difference, though, here is Jaylen Brown's coming off a Finals MVP campaign. He's coming off a lot of success as a MVP finalist. So this is something everyone around the league does believe could reach an inflection point sooner than later.
Shams, thank you. And you're talking about a guy that obviously kept this team afloat in a big way when Jason Tatum was out. But can you, put this genie back in the bottle? Is there any way you see a path forward for Brown and the Celtics?
I don't know because, like I said, I've been watching, I watched some of his off-the-court stuff where the Twitch is going and he's talking. It just seems like he's ready for his own path, his own team, his own little journey because he feels like people don't believe that he can do it alone. And when I see that, I don't really frown upon it. I've seen it too many times with other teammates that I've played with, and I
You only want to put the genie back in the bottle if one of the people want to put it back in the bottle. What if Jaylen Brown doesn't want it back in the bottle? What if Jaylen Brown wants to get traded to a team that'll be his own that potentially would offer him an extension? He's extension eligible in a month. What if the Celtics offer Jaylen Brown for Giannis Antetokounmpo because they know they need to break this core up and change it? I don't think it's definitely going to happen, but let's just be blunt. Jaylen Brown could get traded tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the Celtics have to do something, or at least they obviously feel like they have to do something big after what happened in the playoffs.
This relationship is dead bird, tall grass. and like the legend Usher say, papers.
Yeah.
Sending papers, divorce papers. This relationship has run its course. There's no coming back to this from this. If you're Jaylen Brown, why would you want to be back in Boston? Like, you just had the cook.
Because you won?
No.
Because you won.
You
got Hardwell.
No. Yeah, Ray Allen won too. Yeah. And he took less money and went to Miami.
That's Ray Allen.
No. But it's a different thing.
It's a different point in the career too.
No. But when you feel disrespected.
Without a doubt.
And again, we're talking about a guy that finished top 5 in the MVP conversation. We're talking about a guy that's a finals MVP.
Yeah.
He has accolades that Kevin Garnett don't have in a Celtic uniform.
And he still feels like second fiddle on that team.
And time again, your name keeps getting brought up in trade rumors. At some point, a person is going to be tired of that.
Yeah.
I think it's time for the Celtics to move on from Jaylen Brown, and I think it's time for Jaylen Brown to go get him a fresh start somewhere else.
Let me ask Bobby really quick, because you're always the voice of practical reason, okay? So, honestly, you had a deal out there for Giannis that you could have gotten done. What other deal would be comparable that would make sense to move Jaylen Brown?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is for one player. I think it would be for multiple players, for 2 or 3 players. I will say this: Boston knew that this could have, not happened here. So it wasn't like they woke up and said, "Uh-oh, we didn't make the trade. Now what happens?" They were well prepared. This deal got to the 5-yard line. Milwaukee scored the touchdown. Boston left on the 5-yard line.
So how much sense would it make to do it tonight before the first round?
Well, you know what you're picking. So if you're trying to get into the lottery here, you're not going to wait another cycle until next year's draft.
It depends on if there's a player that they want and a team that's willing to give it. I mean, it's unusual to see a trade like this, but it does happen. That's how the Celtics got Ray Allen. They traded the number 5 pick for him. So it has happened in the past. It's not normal. It may not happen tonight. But when the training camp opens in the fall, I think Jaylen Brown will be someplace else.
Yeah, and listen, as Shams said, Brad Stevens right now, he's working the phone. Sending Giannis and Bobby Portis Jr. to the Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Yakichonis, 3 first-round picks, including number 13. Tonight, a first-round pick and a second rounder. I want y'all to know that Shams Charania did not sleep last night. I'm just saying. Shams, what was the most important thing the Bucks did to get this deal across the finish line and frankly beat out the Celtics, who had a great package on the table as well?
Hannah, John Horst, the general manager, and his front office in Milwaukee, Jimmy Haslam, Wes Edens, the two co-owners, they all found a consensus on direction, on finality, on where they were moving with this organization. Giannis Antetokounmpo informed the Bucks about a calendar year ago that he was ready for a trade. He wanted out of Milwaukee, then that he was not going to sign another contract extension in Milwaukee. The Bucks did everything they could to try to win. They even kept this going even longer than Giannis or anyone there potentially wanted it to see, can we make it work? They stretched and waived Damian Lillard in a historic move to try to do that, but now the package that they picked, that was one that will provide this team cost-controlled players, rookie-scale contracts, a surplus of draft capital starting with tonight now having 10 and 13. That's why it was important that they got this done last night.
All right, a little bit later on, obviously, we'll talk about the Celtics side of this, having Sharpe, Jaylen Brown. In the meantime, Shams, I know you won't go far. So, Heat's title odds, interesting, have gone pretty far. They went from 30-1. That was the 9th shortest on Monday. Now they're at 18-1, the 5th shortest after that trade, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, which actually seems a little high. But let's bring in Bobby Marks. The Heat gave up a lot in this deal. Actually, both these teams have to really fill out their rosters. But what are the Heat looking at right now?
Well, it's the price of doing business when you can acquire a top 5 player in Giannis here, and certainly when you give up a starter in Tyler Hero and now 3 bench players, there's work to do when you look at Miami. So a little bit of math here real quick. They are now hard capped at the first apron. So they basically have $18 million to go spend between 5 players here. They're likely going to lose Norman Powell as a result of this trade here. Now, there are ways to get a little more flexibility. Here's their starting lineup. A player like Andrew Wiggins, for example, he's got a player option. They could potentially lower that number, attach a second year to that, gives them a little bit more flexibility here. But as we've seen in the past, this Miami Heat front office has gone out and found Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, these under-the-radar players here. I think keep an eye on one name, Anthony Simons. They need perimeter shooting for this Heat team. He's a free agent out there. If he's willing to basically go for the veteran minimum and play out a year and maybe restore his value for next year, he would fit in perfectly with this team.
Okay, but Pat Riley, this is his MO. He got his next big superstar, right, in hopes of tacking on another title. How do you like this fit?
I like it a lot when you think of Giannis by himself, right? You think of Giannis coming over there. You think of him joining Bam. I'm going to assume they get Wiggs back. I'm just going to assume they get Wiggs back.
That's a priority in your mind, right?
Yeah. When you start doing that, then you start filling in your shooters. I can see it happening. I really do like Anthony Simons because that's the second coming of Damian Lillard if I ever saw it. Obviously, they spent a lot of time together, but he's one of those guys that brings perimeter shooting but also takes care of the basketball and can help make decisions. I just need playmakers around him that can shoot because anytime you have Giannis Antetokounmpo and he's going downhill all the time, you look at other teams, their job is to load up and keep him out of the middle of the floor. The easiest way to do guarding somebody that attacks down the middle of the floor is to go boxes and elbows. The only way to take that away is perimeter shooting.
Big Perk, were you hoping for the Celtics here?
Well, I was, but listen, it's about damn time this trade finally happened. To me, it should have happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 13 months.
Yeah, I mean, they got back, the Bucks got back some fried ice cream, but if they would have traded Giannis 2 years ago, they would have got back French vanilla. But guess what? If anybody's out there right now ready, if you're a Heat fan and you scream at champion,